Apart from the score, Ken, did you think that that clearance was significant psychologically? Because it did look as if Stephen was going to win that frame.
Yeah, I think it was, certainly. I think more importantly was that I was realising that, you know, like he's missing a lot of chances that we don't normally see him miss. And, you know, I couldn't sort of believe, you know, that he could miss so many easy balls like he did. But that's snooker for you. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you're tuned in and everything is going really well for you, and other days you're not. And that's when I think I was realising that this was a really big session for me. And I thought that if I had a really good session, like a 5-3 or even a 6-2, it was a gigantic step towards realising the ultimate dream for a snooker player, you know. And I was getting more excited by the minute. I think when he missed that red, I was like a greyhound running out of the chair. You know, I thought the red was going to drop, but I just got there in time before it did, and made a very significant clearance. And I think that was really sort of the major sort of confidence booster that I needed. Although I still had, you know, even if he had won it, I still had a couple of frames, you know, in the bag. But I think, you know, to go 10-4, realising that I was going to have at least a 4-frame gap overnight, you know, and I certainly was going to sleep a lot better than Stephen that night.
From that 10-4 lead, Doherty stayed at least 5 frames ahead, and midway through the third session, he was 7 ahead at 14-7. Here's the conclusion of frame 22.
That makes the points level in this frame. There's only
80.
one awkward red, and Ken Doherty won't need that one. So couldn't be better placed to put another frame on the scoreboard.
$23. Ken Doherty, 23.
Well, the first comparatively easy ball that Ken has missed for some time, just when he was in sight, as John said, of taking another frame. So maybe the thought of the winning line just slipped into his mind. It certainly will if Stephen was to go on and make a nice few points from this.
8.
There is one red,
9.
as John said, on that left-hand side cushion. Stephen would need that to clinch the frame, but there's a bit of a chance here.
16. 17. 23. Stephen Hendry, 23. One.
Well, Stephen had a chance there to punish Ken for his mistake, but once again, Stephen's let Ken back in. I don't think Ken Doherty has got the angle on this black to pot it and disturb that awkward last red. So, I think this frame is
8.
going to be down to who gets this one remaining red. All the colours are in the open.
Ken Doherty, 8.
Who will get the first chance?
Well, it's Stephen who's been making the safety errors all afternoon, and there's another one. First duty when you play that safety shot is to get the object ball, that is the red, safe.
1. Four.
So the problem ball may be the brown, but with the blue being in close proximity, it will make the brown easier.
6. Nine.
And that looks about perfect. So he's looking for brown, blue and pink. Well, he could have played that better. He's going to be at full stretch, and he still needs the pink after the blue. So it's not a formality, this now. Straight on the blue, deep screw shot required. And as I say, at full stretch. And believe me, years ago, before the invention of extensions, this might have not been as easy as he may make it look. Tough shot left. So Stephen may be seeing a little bit of hope, because Ken Doherty has found trouble here. Just needs the pink. But a tough shot.
As cool as you like, the pink goes in. And Ken Doherty again increases lead, a massive lead now at 15-7.
Great pink, 8 in front at 15-7. You're bound to be starting to imagine yourself lifting up the trophy.
Yeah, well, I certainly was, but I was trying to contain myself. You know, I knew, you know, it was getting closer and closer each time, and I just wanted to keep. You know, I didn't mind him sort of making a charge. I thought at one stage he was going to, and it was bound to happen. But I thought if I can just keep winning, even if one frame for his every two, I knew I was going to be champion of the world. And I was trying to contain myself and not let myself like get too carried away. I was just trying to plod along, do my own thing, and you know, as I said, not let myself get too carried away. And to win that frame, it was a very big frame. It was a very, very good pink under pressure. When it went in, it was a big relief, and I was certainly very, very happy walking back to the chair after that pink, you know.
Only 3 frames out of 13 needed to win now. Stephen starts his fight back with 137. He wins the next frame as well. That's the last frame of the session, so that reduces it to 15-9. Did losing those last 2 frames of the session shake you at all, or did you think it was still okay?
No, not really, because although, I was 15-7 up, and then all of a sudden it's 15-9, but it didn't really bother me that much, because going into that session after being 11-5, I was taking each session. In the final, I was just taking each session as it came. And, you know, from the first session being 5-3, I thought, well, if I can go 5-3 or 4-all at the next session, I'll be very, very happy. That turned into 6-2 on my advantage, so I had 11-5 lead. In the next session, the third session, I says, well, all I want to do here is just have a 4-all session. I'll be very, very happy. And as it turned out, I was 4-2 up in the session, and he won the last 2 frames. But still, you know, I going back to the hotel room, I said, well, although I was 15-7 up, it's 15-9 now. I'm still very, very happy. I'm in a very comfortable position, and try and keep thinking positively rather than negatively and saying, well, he's coming back, he's made a charge, and start to shake. I just wanted to be in a positive frame of mind and keep, thinking positive thoughts and focusing on the game in hand. And in the next session, I just wanted to go out and win or even lose. You know, even if I won the 3 frames, I was still going to be champion of the world.
What did you actually do in the interval between these sessions?
Well, mainly just try and relax, you know. I was certainly... The phone was taken off the hook for a start, you know. By the time that I was in the final, you know, the sort of the hype, the media attention, there was a lot of press coming over from Ireland. You know, although I was on the phone to home and see how my mother was coping with all this pressure and the rest of the family, you know, I knew the excitement back home was incredible. You know, all the pubs were full to capacity, and you know, Dublin and the whole of Ireland had taken a holiday over that weekend, and you know, I just wanted to, as I said before, just, you know, forget about what was happening. You know, I didn't want, you know, the family were going to come over, but I says, like, no, like stay at home. The last couple of times they came over the finals, I lost, so I didn't want that to happen. I said, stay away from me, you're not coming over. You keep bringing me bad luck. So, but no, a couple of friends did come over, but all the family stayed behind. I think they wouldn't have been able to take it if they had been there. The pressure was too much, and especially in the last session, you know, I was feeling the pressure an awful lot more than I had, and it wasn't a session that I particularly enjoyed, except until the last frame. But it was the last going into the last session. The build up to it was probably, you know, as I said, it was not something for the faint-hearted.
The World Final, the final session. Always the climax to the season, sometimes the climax of a man's life, sometimes his deepest disappointment. This is the Crucible, and this is where they test players' mettle in the fiercest heat of battle that snooker can provide. Final session, Doherty leads 15-9, first to 18 wins.
Ken Doherty to break.
Ken Doherty starts the final session, needing 3 of the 11 frames to take the title. Stephen Hendry has to win 9 from 11 to retain it.
One. Six.
Yes, and this time choice could go back for the blue or may play with the right hand side to move that red away from the black off the back cushion.
Stephen Hendry, 6.
Well, he moved the black, but a chance for Ken.
And it was the right of centre striking, which I'm sure caused him to miss the pot.
1. 8. Nine.
Yes, good shot there by Ken. Disturbed 4 or 5 reds there, and there are a couple available into the left corner.
$12.
Got into the cue ball a little too much. He meant to screw down the table a little more on the right-hand side of it. It was a thin potting angle, and he couldn't quite get into the cue ball enough
13.
to get it round behind the back of the black.
Black. Ken Doherty, 13.
Well, the crowd are applauding, but Steve now's left Ken a red over the right corner. He's going to have to force this to try and get down for the pink.
One.
Perhaps made ultra sure of potting the red. The natural angle was always taking the cue ball into the bunch of reds. He snookered himself.
Green ball. Brown ball. Foul and a miss. 1, Ken Doherty. 4, Stephen Hendry.
Yes, and Stephen not having it replaced, asking Ken to play from where the white's finished. But there appears to be a shot to nothing in this right corner, that back red at the right. And that's a great shot from Ken. And a bad mistake by Stephen.
1.
Well, he did have a look, but didn't notice it.
Four. 5.
Played to cannon the blue to leave himself on the black.
Yes, badly wanted the black back on its spot there.
Ken Doherty. 5.
Well, very fortunate there for Ken. But maybe that was the shot he should have played in the first place.
Six hours playing time for 24 completed frames.
Yes, and that looks to have got Stephen in a bit more trouble. Playing this with a lot of swerve and right-hand side on the white. That's a good shot. Has left Ken a chance of the red into right corner, but still a good shot Stephen played.
One.
Bit short.
8.
Yes, that's one of those bad shots that could have come in his favour. Pots this and finishes on a colour. He'll be splitting all the other reds.
Ken Doherty. 8.
Seemed to blast at that rather than stroke through it.
Yes, I think that's pressure. And of course, if anyone's going to suffer a bit of pressure in this first frame, it's going to be Ken.
One. Five. Six. $30.
3 easy reds, but he can't win the frame without the 2 awkward ones.
14. $21. 22. 29.
'So Stephen trying to run through and leave an angle on the black, and that looks pretty good. To try and move that red on the left-hand cushion over the middle pocket.
$37.
That was bad luck.
38.
Great pot, and the attempt to move the other red into a potable position only just failed.
Yes, and this is even better. Played that with a tremendous amount of side there to check the ball off the cushion. And just
44.
one colour required now to leave Ken needing snookers.
$49. $51. Stephen Hendry, 51.
Which, barring at least two snookers, will be enough for Henry to take the frame.
$3. Ken Doherty, 3. Frame conceded. Frame
Doherty concedes. Hendry narrows the gap to 5 frames.
Stephen Hendry to break. Frame 26.
Yes, that's the second time today we've seen Stephen make a bad break off. And if Ken can knock this red in, do his confidence a bit of good.
Foul. Stephen Hendry, 4.
There is, of course, a huge burden of expectation now on Doherty, not least in his own mind. Hendry leaving alone the three-quarter ball long red in favour of the greater certainty of a good safety.
Yes, and that's an equally good safety from Ken. A noisy path for Stephen down the left-hand side of the table. And he won't complain at that.
Doherty may be looking for a containing safety down in the right-hand corner.
Well, Ken coming off the side cushion, try and rest against this red near the corner pocket. Has to be careful here. That's too hard. He's left the red into the left corner. Now if the black will pass this red into the right corner, it's a chance for Stephen.
One.
Well, obviously it wouldn't to the right corner. Otherwise, Hendry would have played for it. But he made it possible to pop it to the right corner.
8.
And he's just starting to look dangerous.
Yes, and that red he knocked into that left corner was a tremendous shot.
Nine.
And now I think we're going to see him reap the rewards.
$16. 17. 24. 25. 28.
And now it looks as though he can hold for the pink into the left corner.
29. $35. 36. 43. 44. 51. 52.
It's such a help attacking a big deficit as Hendry is.
Yes,
To pick off frames with a single break.
58. 59.
59. Yes, and all this, of course, is putting a bit more pressure on Ken.
65.
But I wouldn't be surprised. We don't see a century break here.
66.
'Got that rhythm round the table, cueing beautifully.
72. 73.
Yes, yesterday he seemed just a little hurried, about 3 or 4 seconds too quick on virtually every shot. But he seems more in the groove in these 2 frames we've seen tonight
80.
than he has all match.
81. 88. 89. 96. 97.
So, just screw back now for the red into the right corner.
That's Hendry's 5th century of the match.
103. 104.
So 137 possible. And the way he's playing and the position of the balls, I don't think he's going to miss.
110.
This has given Doherty something to think about.
Stephen Hendry, 110.
No total clearance, but the break of 110 reduces Ken Doherty's lead to 4. Only 4 frames in it now. Are you starting to feel the pressure?
Yeah, certainly. You know, the first couple of frames, although I hadn't really done much wrong, Stephen played very, very well. and he seemed to have a different sort of persona about him. He seemed a lot more determined. That he seemed to have that little bit of sort of cocky stride going around the table again, and seemed to be pretty confident and very focused himself in that last session. And certainly, the pressure was thrown back onto me. I was 15-7, all of a sudden 15-9, and now 15-11, and looking a little bit shaky. When I watched reruns of the tape, my face the blood was drawn from it. I was getting paler and paler, and pale enough as it is, but I was becoming like Snow White, I think. And certainly the pressure was at its highest in them last few frames.
But looking on the positive side, you still need only 3 frames out of 9.
Yeah, but I think you don't think of that at the time. You're just taking each frame as it comes along. And the worst thing you can do is, the old cliche that you see the winning post and you just collapsed. And I was suffering. I was suffering a little bit in the chair when he started to come back. But at the same time, I just taking each frame as it came along. I knew, to be pretty confident, you got to still keep your confidence in yourself, knowing that if you get one chance, that you're still good enough to take it and win the frame from it. So that's all I was waiting for. I mean, Stephen hadn't given me too many chances in them couple of frames that he won on the trot. So I was just waiting for the chance to come along and try and take it as best I could.
Frame 27, Ken Doherty to break. Touching ball.
Doherty's just got to stick to his game and stick to his method. He's not got to contemplate the appalling prospect of having his heart's desire snatched away. He's still 4 frames in front.
Yes, in actual fact, Ken's missed 1 pot in the first frame. And besides that one, he's done nothing wrong. And I think that one in the first frame was due to pressure, but I'm sure it'll have settled down now.
An anxious look to see whether he's left Hendry a cut at the red to left corner.
Well, he certainly has.
One. Foul and a miss. 1, Stephen Hendry. 4, Ken Doherty.
Didn't even get halfway. And he has thereby put himself in at least some of the trouble that he was trying to put Doherty in. Doherty has asked him to go again after that foul.
Yes, there is a red above and to the right of the black that Stephen could play around the angles off. But it appears he can actually pot this red near the corner.
Foul and a miss. 4, Ken Doherty.
I think he attempted to pot that red with side. The cue ball swerved out and didn't come back again. Pretty crucial replacing decision by Alan Chamberlain. I don't know that it was as easy as that, and Hendry very sportingly correcting him. Yeah, yes, the green was the troublesome ball. I think Hendry's got it back now in the place that it was.
Yes, I'm still surprised Ken's putting him in for this shot.
1.
Now I know why he did.
It was a tough pot, no guarantee of position, as we saw, and if he'd missed it, he could have left Doherty right in.
Spider. Brown ball. Foul. 1, Stephen Hendry. 4, Ken Doherty.
Yes, a chance now for Ken to snooker Stephen behind the blue, if he wishes. Obviously doesn't like that shot, so taking the white down to the baulk cushion.
What's been particularly encouraging for Hendry so far this evening, though, is the marked improvement in his long potting over the 3 previous sessions in this match.
Yes, it looks as though, although he's very close to this red, can pot it. And pink or black available.
6.
So again, I think it was a bad choice of shot from Ken.
Stephen Hendry. 6.
The easiest red is covered, but there's another easy one to middle.
Yes, and the one at the side of the black, I think, will go. So, chance here for Ken to get that Q arm working.
One.
Now, when he pots this black, he will be attempting, I think, to try and move that red away from the black spot. Otherwise, the pink and the black are going to be tied up. So he needs a little stun and right-hand side on the white, and that's a good shot.
This opportunity arising from Hendry's first glaring unforced error of the evening.
Nine. Sixteen. Seventeen. $24.
Not immediately apparent whether the back red is potable. It would appear not.
Ken Doherty, 24. One.
That was a fluke. Although Doherty hit the safety element of his shot perfectly.
One.
By fluking the
Ken
red as well, he was able to put Hendry in even more difficulty.
Well, Stephen can hit the red on the left cushion, but could get the double kiss if he tries to go back to ball. That was always the problem. No, has he got away with it?
Doherty fancies the double quite strongly, but he does have a half-bore clip from the pink spot as well.
Fine. Now, no more shouting out, please, when players are approaching the shots. No more shouting out, please.
Yes, I think that's a timely calming word from Alan Chamberlain. It's not like boxing. You do need a bit more peace and quiet to play this game well.
So, another chance for Ken. And I think he's got to stop trying to be ultra cautious and go out and try and build a break. Certainly not easy with the balls situated as they are.
One.
Well, that's a bad shot. Was playing to get on the green, I think, to try and screw back and disturb the two reds near the middle.
I think the tension and the pressure has affected his touch a little. Simply struck the cue ball a little too hard.
Yes, taking the blue on into his right corner.
Ken Doherty, 1.
Well, I thought he was taking the blue on. That was a strange shot.
He was playing a safety, but didn't get the cue ball on the black cushion.
One.
Missable cut black, but he develops reds, whether he gets it or not.
Well, he's certainly taking it on.
I think Doherty's stomach may be tightening up a bit.
Nine. $13. 14. 21. 22.
Well, Stephen going for the black to split those two reds. And this is a confident shot. Well, that's unlucky. Great effort.
29. Stephen Hendry, 29.
Reducing his deficit to 1, but he failed to get the cue ball behind the pink.
Yes, and this is where the temperament comes in. Ken has to get down and try and drop this red into the right centre and forget about the other red. Frame ball.
Certainly a key shot.
1. Five. Six.
This brown, yellow, green and brown, would be enough.
Yes, and that's the perfect angle on the yellow. Doesn't have to force it.
10.
Just a trace of left-hand side on the white for the green into the same pocket.
Twelve. 15.
This for a 5-frame lead. $20 in front, 18 on the table. Unbelievable.
19, Ken Doherty. 6, Stephen Hendry.
And thus, Doherty presents Hendry with the penalty
Thank you,
points he
ladies and
needed.
gentlemen.
Yes, Ken has to take this on. No alternative shot. But what a tough one. And the secret with this is not to play it too hard.
But that must have looked so difficult after the traumatic experience of the previous shot when he knocked the pink in. He's not going to miss pink and black from here.
11.
And Stephen Hendry reduces the gap to 3 frames. 5 in a row he's won. The last 2 this afternoon, the first 3 this evening. And could that frame be an enormous psychological point in this game? You went through a few emotions in that frame.
I certainly did. I was so relieved when I potted the brown. I knew I only needed the brown to go 20 ahead on the blue. And although the blue was near enough to pocket, because of the position of the pink behind the black, Stephen needs one snooker. If I try and roll the blue in and draw it and leave it over the hole, he's got a very easy shot just to pot the blue and knock the pink around the table and leave the white where the pink was and you know, put me in a pretty difficult snooker. So because of that, I had to hit the blue a little bit harder. So if I had have missed it, that it would run away from the pocket and make it as difficult as possible for him to pot the blue or put me in a snooker situation. But it was an incredible what happened. The shot I played, and I mean, I could have played that. John Parrott said it on the TV. I could have played that 1,000 times, and that would have never happened. And I thought like that was the last straw. That was it. I was gonna collapse like a cheap tent, and you know, I thought my chance. That was it. I was just praying to myself. I says, "Oh no, please, just don't throw it away now." That's all I was saying to myself in the chair. Don't let this happen to me. Not in the final of the World Championship. I would have preferred to got out in the first round rather than, you know, to have all this lead from 15-7 to be whittled away down to 2 and then have a mid-session interval, or to even lose the championships from 15-7 up would have been I think the biggest collapse of all time. And I was just praying to the heavens that it was going to happen to me. You know, it would have totally killed me.
28th frame, Stephen Hendry to break.
There's no doubt the wind is in Hendry's sails now.
Foul. Ken Doherty, 4.
And now, what a big shot Ken has. Red he can get through to the red near the left-hand corner pocket. And I think the black will go into the right corner. So this is the big shot. Yes, and this is where he can get his confidence back.
Eight. 9.
It's just such a shock to the nervous system to lose a frame in the way that he just has. You really do need special qualities to keep cool
16.
and play as if nothing's happened after that.
17.
Yes, I'm pretty sure, having seen Ken here for the last 2 weeks, he's not going to lose this match. Stephen's going to have to win it.
$24.
And he is still 3 frames in front, which in the ordinary way is a decent lead.
25. $32. $33. Wide. 40. $41.
Yes, now gone a little too far, I think, for the red to arrive at the pike, so I may go into the... No, he's played for the loose red. And that's a good shot.
46.
No choice. Can play for the black into the left corner to disturb the reds, or pink into the left centre.
$47.
Well, the way Ken held his cue up there, I doubt if this red will pass the pack.
53.
So, the red near the cushion. Yes, if anything, a little too good on the black. So screw back with left-hand side. That loose red, he's overhit that.
61.
Yes, by about 3 feet. The adrenaline is really running.
Ken Doherty, 61.
Well, I find it hard to believe that Ken played that shot. Should have been thin off the red and the white down near the ball cushion. A terrible choice of shot.
Yes, and the first sign that Doherty, panicking a little, tried to overplay his hand.
One.
Well, an unfortunate run of the ball for Hendry. Practically anywhere but there was better.
Stephen Hendry, 1.
So Doherty got away with his indiscretion. Still 64 in front. $75 on the table. I do believe that he's really feeling it now. How relieved he must have been to see Hendry miss that comparatively easy ball. That red plus pink would have been sufficient.
Yes, but Stephen had a chance to bring the black into play here.
One. Six.
A little bit short. And even if he can pot the red, it would have to be with such a thin cut that the cue ball would have to travel quite a long way.
Well, been rather fortunate there with the position on the blank. Certainly didn't play for that case, but good pot.
$14. $15.
Key shot coming up.
22.
If Hendry pots this, all the other balls are on.
Stephen Hendry, 22.
And that will be a relief to Ken. Just red and black will be sufficient to leave Stephen needing snookers.
A relief for Ken. Was that your entry for understatement of the year, John?
$8. $9.
Ken Doherty led 15-7. He lost the last 2 frames this afternoon. He lost the first 3 this evening.
16.
And looked like losing this one.
17.
But Hendry missed the key ball. Red along the cushion. Doherty's earlier 61 break stood him in good stead.
Ken Doherty, 17.
And it was easy from there to clinch the frame and go 4 frames ahead, 16-12 at the mid-session interval. A massive frame. You must have feared the worst when Stephen was clearing up.
I did, especially because I'd done such a very, very good break. I made a very good 60-odd break at the beginning of the frame and played probably one of the worst shots. But it just showed the pressure I was under. I went for a red where I should have played safety, and the reds, I split the reds open, and then Stephen got in and proceeded to make this break. And as I was sitting on my chair, I thought, like, you know, I'm making silly mistakes. I was just trying to say, like, just keep concentrating and don't like throw it to him, like try and make it as difficult as possible. But I feared the worst when he was clean. I mean, he missed the red along the top cushion. He took the difficult red probably first and left he still had another 2 reds, but they were in the open, and he was you know, odds on to clear up and make it 15-13. But it was an incredible miss. I mean, he doesn't miss many of them reds along the back cushion. He's normally very, very good, and it just jangled and never went in, and you know, it was the biggest relief and the godsend that ever happened to me. I think by praying to the heavens in the chair as I was, I think that was the sign, you know, that, you know, the match had sort of swayed back in my favour. You know, I stopped the rod, as it were. You know, I stopped him winning the 6 frames in a row, and that sort of settled me down. He left the ball in the pot, and all I had to do was put a red and a black, and it was 16-12. The whole match turned back around in my favour from then on. It was looking like Stephen was coming back, and he was going to catch me like he did. And I watched many a final and many a match where he came back from the dead, especially the one against Mike Hallett, when he was 8-2 down and won all them frames in a row. And that's what I was fearing worst, and that's what I was saying to myself: please, not me, not here, not this time, not in the final, you know. But when he missed that, the whole match swung in my favour again, and I certainly was a very relieved man going to the dressing room at the mid-session interval. It was the height of the pressurised situation, the height of the pressure cooker, was them couple of frames when he kept coming back. But that all changed, you know. It changed from a pressure cooker to a fridge, as it were, coming out after that session and winning that 28 frame. It lifted an awful lot of weight off my shoulders, and I was totally relaxed then when I came out, and I just knew then that was it. I felt that was the World Championship for me.
Hendry battled it out to the last, but he'd made one prodigious effort, and it wasn't in him that night to make another. From 16-12 at the mid-session interval, Doherty made it 18-12 as he clinched the title. What were you thinking in those last few moments, Ken?
Oh, it was the most incredible experience, feeling that I've ever felt. Especially the last few balls, you know, you could see it on the TV, and especially when I potted the brown and I was plumb on the blue. And it was, the funny thing was, as I was walking around the table to pot the blue, I looked down at the press box and there was Tony Drago, and he was like that, you know, and he knew, he was smiling and clapping. And once I saw his face, then I just cracked up, smiling, you know, and I couldn't keep it in. I just couldn't keep it in. It was just, you know, you've worked so hard, being a professional for, it was my 7th season, and played snooker and watched the World Championships for many years, especially when Alex Higgins won it in '82. And you know, I always sort of, every single year was, you know, the highlight of the year was watching the World Championships, and you know, the drama that was going to unfold from all the championships up until then. And for it to become a realisation for me to lift the trophy was just an incredible, it was like a dream come true. There's no more words you can say to explain it. It was just a dream come true, and something I've always wanted to do, and it happened, and I couldn't believe it really, and I couldn't keep the emotions in any longer. I just was smiling my head off, and smiled up to my friend up in the crowd who was on the balcony, and all my pals up there as well, and it was just fantastic, you know. It was the perfect way to finish.
Get above your head, on your head. On your head,